Hello and welcome to another Source Gaming discussion, and this one is a special one on a special day because it is Super Smash Bros. 20th birthday today. And joining me for this is veteran Source Gaming writer Spazzy.
Hey guys.
And the two newest members on the team, we have Hamada.
Hey guys, I have no idea what I'm doing over here.
It's alright, none of us do. And Shadow Link.
Hi, I'm taking over from the inside.
So, I've asked these guys to all come on, and we're basically going to share our thoughts on Smash. What a surprise. But it's more of an important one today, because this is, the 20th anniversary of the very first game, and the start of the series as a whole. And I think that's important. And Nintendo often celebrate the 20th years of all of their series, and Smash is one of those big ones, so I don't see why they wouldn't here. Let's all talk about this, starting with... let's start with where we all got into the series itself. Well, actually, no. Let's start with Smash 64 first. Just because I know that not everybody here started with that game.
Let's begin at the beginning, right?
Yeah, let's begin at the beginning.
Sounds good.
So, Spazzy, you're the oldest one out of all of us, and so you have vivid memories of when Smash 64 actually came out.
Yes, I remember. I was in high school when Smash 64 came out, and I remember seeing the commercials and being like, "This looks cute. That's fine." And then I remember renting the game and playing it with my friends over a weekend, and we liked it. But we didn't love it. Like, honestly, I did not fall in love with Smash till Melee. I didn't feel, like, compelled to buy it. We played it for a weekend. I was super stoked that the kid from Earthbound was there. I'm like, oh man, I love Earthbound. That's really weird that they put this guy in and not, like, Little Mac or something. Because at the time of the Nintendo 64, a Punch-Out game had come out on the previous gen, so that was still very much like an actual franchise. I remember at the time being all like, man, they should really add Little Mac. And then, I don't know how many years later, like 14 years later. 14 years. And I got him. But no, I like the game. In retrospect, there's some things that I like about the game. I right before we started this discussion, I'm like, I really like that since there was no side special, that when Kirby, the Kirby hats, when he ate Link and Ness were PK Fire and Boomerang, which were nice, which I like better than Arrow and
PK Flash.
PK Flash. Yeah, PK Flash.
Was it the advert was the advert you and your friends saw, the one where everyone's in costume beating each other up?
Well, yeah, that was 100% the one, and the N64 was very much like a local gaming machine. The GameCube was too. But the N64 was just like, hey, after school, let's everybody get over and we'll play some games. We'll play just like anything. The multiplayer in Star Fox, obviously, Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, Gauntlet 64, all of the wrestling games, No Mercy and WWF 2000. So we played a lot of 4-player games against each other. So Smash was, Mario Party. Smash was definitely something that appealed to that. And we're like, oh, cool, here's another game. But I think also part of it is that Smash came out so late within 64, came out so late within the 64's lifespan that it just wasn't, if Melee hadn't come out, it almost, I feel like, would have been lost as a one of those games that comes out late on a system's life. It didn't have, it didn't come out like at the peaks. It wasn't like, like when Star Fox 64 came out and you're like, oh my god, look at all this stuff that's going on. Like the N64 was already definitely, I feel like, on a downslide.
So like the Mario Sports Superstars of the N64?
Yeah, and once again, I'm just saying this, it's anecdotal, just from my own personal memory of how I felt about the game. So, anyways.
Well, what about you, Hamada? Because I don't believe Smash 64 was your first one at all. Do you have any memories of it when it came out?
I didn't exist when it came out.
All right, I was wondering if that might be the case.
No.
Okay, so when did you first get a chance to play Smash 64?
Well, my Brawl disc started being pretty messed up. Okay, because that was my first game.
Okay.
So when it broke, I was just like, there's an older Smash game on the Wii. I heard that an older Smash game has Mewtwo. I was really young back then, so I wasn't gonna look this stuff up. So I was just like, okay, let's buy this Smash 64, and finally I get to play Mewtwo. I think he's cooler than Lucario. This is better. And then I bought it, and I was like, oh. Well, I'll play it either way until my Brawl disc starts working again.
just these guys.
Yeah, just Jigglypuff. What a letdown.
I do like a lot of 64 stages. We can talk about that later.
No, we'll talk about that in a minute. But how was your first impressions of 64 compared to Brawl, considering that's the only other one you played, Hamada?
Well, I can't really tell much. Obviously, there was the lack of specials and stuff. It obviously just felt like a worse version of Brawl, but ugly. But there were elements of it that even then I was like, thought it was pretty cool. Like, I do like the sound effect whenever you hit someone off stage. That's kind of like a classic sound effect. You don't know why they never brought it back. And I don't know. It kind of felt like, being the first game, it kind of just felt like it was a good game even now, because it just kind of like what people think with Ocarina of Time. But yeah, I wasn't blown away. I didn't really go back to it much once I got Melee and Brawl started working again.
Oh, fair. What about you, Shadow Link? What are your memories of Smash 64?
Okay, so I have a weird history with Smash 64 in that the N64 was the only system I had for 8 years of my life, and the only 2 games I had for the N64 were The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So
I would have gone with something with more variety, but
So one time I went over to a cousin's house, and they had a GameCube with Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I was just like, holy shit, there's a game with Link in it? Whoa!
This small indie character named Link is more popular?
But yeah, so I played Link. I was like, wow, this game's really great. I wish I could play it when I was at home. So I found out that there was a Smash game for the N64. So I pick up Super Smash Bros. And I spend like countless hours playing classic mode as Link.
Just as Link.
Which, as an aside, I recorded the footage for this video, and I'm playing classic mode as Link. But yeah, I spent a long time playing only as Link. As
I thought, maybe I'll try a different character. Maybe this isn't just a Zelda game.
As I got older, I played I played a little more as Captain Falcon, and I started playing more as Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon became my main for Smash 64 because I really liked hitting people with the Falcon Punch.
Isn't that the only reason anyone plays Falcon?
Whenever you're
anyone ever play Smash.
But I gotta say, a lot of times, because we come from, I know that we're not even people that are super into the competitive scene necessarily, but we come from a background where we talk about Smash so much that sometimes you forget that there's characters that are kind of created so that people can pick up the game and have fun and be a kid and be like, I just want to use Samus's charge shot.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't care. It doesn't. Not every move needs to be, and not every move and every character needs to be competitively viable, because the game is balanced as both a fighting game and a party game. It's just
If I want to keep using up B as Ness and one day I'll eventually hit it, I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I named my Pikachu amiibo Downby. That's his name.
Nice. So, Shadow Link, back to you.
Yeah, with Smash 64, for the longest time, I literally only had an N64, so I would bring it over to my friend's house. We had 2 controllers. We would have to take turns passing around the controllers. And we just generally had a good time. It was a lot of fun. I have very fond memories of the afternoons after school, playing Smash.
No.
Then how about you? Do you have any memories of Smash 64?
Yeah, so the first time I played Smash 64, I rented it. I think I saw it in like a Blockbusters or whatever equivalent I had at the time. And I really liked Super Mario 64, and this had Mario on the front. And so I decided to pick it up. And I remember playing it for like a week, and I didn't unlock everything. I didn't unlock all the characters, but I did unlock like the final stage, Mushroom Kingdom. And I'm pretty sure I definitely unlocked Luigi and Jigglypuff and Captain Falcon. I think it was just Ness. Ness is my biggest memory of Smash 64 because
That darn
eventually I picked it up, and Ness is the hardest character to unlock in that game, and I just didn't know how I unlocked anything the first time. So I knew there was another character, I knew there was another stage, but I had no idea how to get it, and would just constantly try. And I think either someone told me or I somehow figured out that to unlock Ness you have to do like normal mode 3 stock without getting a continue. And I would just do that constantly in my ongoing pursuit to finally get Ness as a character. And that was like a big portion of playing Smash 64. I got everything but Ness for ages, and I would just keep doing that and keep doing that all the time. And I really enjoyed it. I really liked playing as Link mainly, and I also played as Yoshi and Pikachu and Kirby because he was easy and didn't. Like, you could just fly back onto the stage.
Man, for those of you that don't remember, because once again, I'm old, man, renting games is, it's how you try a game out. But there were times, especially for games with a lot of unlockables or RPGs, it sucked when you put a lot of time into a cart, and then you went and you're like, well, now I need to buy the game and do all of that all over again, because all I did was rent it.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Well, I had that problem a few times with Smash 64 because once I did unlock everything, I stopped playing it for a while, and eventually when I went to go play it back, for whatever reason, didn't have my save file anymore.
Ooh.
So I had to do it all again.
Oh no.
And I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know if, because the Nintendo 64 didn't have memory cards, so I was really confused and wondered if there was something, wrong with the cart, or maybe there was actually a memory card and I just didn't know this whole time. Smash 64, it was the first one I played. It's not until Melee that I really got into the series. But I have, memories of just it being really difficult. And now, when I look back on Smash 64, I really like how archaic it is, and I like that there wasn't as many options for characters. And so just thinking about all the series that were, like you said, Punch-Out back then was actually like a sort of bigger series. It had a game on the previous gen, and quite successful. I had games on every gen, basically, up until Nintendo 64.
It was same as Metroid, really.
Yes, same as Metroid, and Balloon Fight was actually getting games as well, and so was Excite Bike, and
and Kid Icarus was a franchise that still had a lot of fond memories, I think, especially in the
well, I had a game on the Game Boy that wasn't that much older than Smash 64. So
that game never came out in Japan, though. So
I know.
Yeah, but we're talking from a Western point of view of the franchise.
Yeah,
there's definitely a better universe out there where there was a Super
Kid Icarus.
A Super Kid Icarus. Yeah.
See, at the time, though, for me, I didn't know a lot of the characters. I didn't know Samus in Smash 64, and I actually thought Samus was a guy. And I found out Samus was a girl purely because in Smash 64, when you get an electric shock, you get to see the skeleton of the character.
Wow, so you went in on this game. You saw every detail, didn't you?
Yeah, but with Samus, it wasn't a skeleton. You just saw her without her suit on.
Oh, you did?
That's what Samus is. She doesn't have a skeleton. She just has a no detailed human body.
Well, I mean,
and I was like, guy?
Listen.
Yeah, I was like, that's a very feminine looking guy, I thought, and I was like 7 or 8.
In order to fit into that ball, in order to fit into the morph ball, you kinda can't have a skeleton.
Oh yeah,
this is true.
Honestly, I mean, Super Metroid was one of my favorite series of all time. It still is, but back then there were less games to compete with it, so it was probably top 3. So I was huge. Like, that was part of the draw, is that I hadn't seen Samus in anything for a long time since there was no 64 game. Captain Falcon made super sense for that game. Like, oh, obviously.
Captain Falcon was one of the few characters I knew from that game. The Mario, Link, the Mario-related characters, Pikachu and Captain Falcon were the only ones I actually knew in that game. I kind of vaguely knew Kirby and Fox because I'd played one of their games, but I wasn't that into the series. I'd never played Metroid, and Earthbound didn't even release in Europe, so... Oof.
Well, Star Fox was definitely a favorite of mine. And I really... to this day, I will say Kirby's Adventure on the NES is still the most Kirby game, and is still, like, extremely playable. Like, so I knew all of the characters, and I'm one of those weirdos that actually played Earthbound when it came out, because Nintendo Power told me to, so of course I did.
This game stinks.
And I actually, super funny, I don't know where my copy of Earthbound is now, and it kills me. But I definitely bought it on clearance for $20.
Oh man!
because I rented it, because that was a game that, talking about renting, I rented Earthbound like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, like, you know, just like to beat it at Blockbuster when I was like in middle school.
The beginning was just that good.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it because there's, I don't know, especially that was a problem, man. JRPGs on the Super Nintendo. You're like, okay, do I want to sink more time into Secret of Mana, or do I just want to stop playing it, know I like it, and ask for it for my birthday? just wait it out.
That's probably the best option, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, it was. But with Earthbound, like, I played it, actually, it's probably only 2 weeks, because I didn't beat it on renting it. And I enjoyed the game, but I wasn't completely in love with it. I liked it, but I didn't love it, to use, Game Explain terminology. And then like a year or two later, I remember, because this is when Best Buys existed, I remember they had piles and piles of the big Earthbounds with the strategy guides, and they were selling them all for $20. And I'm like, let me buy Earthbound. And that's when I actually played it and beat it and loved it. And I remember even at the time thinking, like, man, I should pick up a couple of these. Like, it'll just be fun to have a couple Earthbounds because they're so cheap. And I never did. Probably should have. But yeah, like, Ness is really the only one when looking at this roster at the time it came out where I'm like, that guy. But at the same time, I didn't know anything about game sales, and I knew that Nintendo talked about it a lot when it came out on the Super Nintendo, so why not, Yeah.
Even back then, I found Jigglypuff to be a weird choice for the game. Like, of all the Pokemon, I knew, obviously I watched the anime when I was growing up, so I knew that Jigglypuff was a semi-important character. But
yeah, back then we didn't understand the... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's alright. It's, it was like, why Jigglypuff? Why not Mewtwo? What about Charizard or Squirtle? Or what other Pokemon, actually? I think that might have been all the main ones. Or Meowth, actually. Meowth was one I wondered why wasn't in the game.
Yeah, back then we didn't understand what the concept of, like, reusing assets to make easier characters.
Yeah.
So we just were wondering, like, where's this crazy complex Mewtwo? Why can't he just, like, be the strongest character?
Man, I never understood Jigglypuff because I didn't understand the rest mechanic in Smash 64. So I just didn't know how to play it. The only thing I remember of Jigglypuff is trying to do her board the platforms for, like, ages. And that's a good segue into, like, Smash 64 has a lot of...
Oh, she had a different... Kirby had a different move for Jigglypuff too, right? Because they didn't have rollout. Yeah.
The rollout wasn't there. But that's that is a good segue into the other content of Smash 64, because it being the first one, we had, obviously, like, general 4-player smashing with items and stuff, but there were no side specials. There was board the platforms as well as a break the targets. We actually had, like, sort of sub-boss with Metal Mario and the Fighting Polygon team, who had their own unique stages. And then, of course, Master Hand at the end. And I don't know, I quite like the stages in Smash 64. They're all, like, really simple, and they all reflect, like, the games really well. And some of them are clearly really good, because the Star Fox one has basically come back in every single stage, just renamed Corneria for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but sorry, go ahead.
No,
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I always like Yoshi's Island, and I like the way that it's been designed in the new Smash, where it really pops out as a storybook.
yeah.
And this is the only Smash to not have Final Destination and Battlefield, but it does have Dreamland.
It does have Final Destination and Battlefield, but you can't play them outside of single player.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't actually select them, and you can't select Metal Cavern either, which is like the biggest sin because it makes it like the only stage that basically is never going to be coming back. Because like we haven't got Sector Z, which I suppose as well is a bit of a useless stage when Corneria is exactly the same, and then Planet Zeb's that should have come back in Smash Ultimate, but oh well. But because Metal Cavern Cavern's never been selectable in multiplayer, it's like the only stage in the entire history of Smash that's never actually been legitimately playable.
Yeah, I think the reason people like the Smash 64 stage is like they fit the franchise they're from, but unlike in like Ultimate and 4, they're not like crazy over the top stage with these crazy gimmicks. It still feels more like an actual fight. And I think people that's like having the theme and having in gameplay some elements like some Pokemon coming out of the Saffron City doors, which makes people like those stages. And I kind of wish there'd be more simple stages like that in Ultimate. I mean, I like the crazy spectacles like Dracula's Castle.
I don't know, man. A lot of the Melee stages even are also like I'll say like at least focused around just like one gimmick. I feel like the problem with stages, and a lot of the 3DS stages too, like honestly, I know it's a walk off and it has the it has some, you know, sometimes there's ice and fire on the stage, but like Gerudo Valley's not like that crazy of a stage, you know. There's
I mean, I think that Smash 3DS toned it down. I think that Wii U is where you got the crazy over-the-top stuff that people didn't like Great Cave Offensive, which was my modern Kirby Sakurai.
Yeah.
No, Wii U and Brawl definitely had some really big, a lot of stuff going on and a lot of moving part stages. Whereas, yeah, Smash 64s are fairly simple. I think Ultimate, the actual new stages in Ultimate, are all really simple.
Yeah, well, only 3 of them, so you can't really, but...
Four
yeah, you're
of
right,
them.
I mean...
There's 4 of them.
Wait, 4?
Dracula's Castle.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Forgot.
Dracula's Castle.
Yeah.
Forgot about Moray Towers. That I'd call a pretty crazy one because of the weird physics. But besides that, yeah, Great Plateau, New Donk, they're all pretty simple. Even Dracula's Castle.
Dracula's Castle actually has a
Hyrule...
really good layout, but I don't think we should be getting sidetracked this far.
Yeah, this is true.
It wouldn't be a Source Gaming discussion if we did it. Hyrule Castle is a fan favorite, but speaking of gimmicks, man, that those tornadoes suck.
Yeah,
am I right? I mean, like,
that's very true.
Nice pun.
they kill you so fast.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't that many stages to talk about. Also, Peach's Castle is weird. I never understand why anybody likes that stage.
What even is it? It's just like an obstacle course with like the JPEG of the Peach's Castle map from 64 in the background.
I swear to God, they were making a stage based off of NES Pinball, and then they decided, you know what? Nobody likes NES Pinball.
Where's the Mario stage? Where's the Mario stage, you idiots?
Let's just make this Peach's Castle.
The ceiling on Saffron City is really, really high. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can shoot
It
like
is.
you can shoot characters up there at like 200 and they'll survive.
Mushroom Kingdom, yeah, like it's funny. I guess Mushroom Kingdom, Planet Zeb's, Sector Z are all similar to stages that came in Melee.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stages in Melee are just 64 stages, like slightly evolved. I mean, some take on very different shape, like Peach's Castle in Melee is actually Peach's Castle, and not some random flying objects. But like, I mean, Hyrule Castle is sort of a proto-temple, a really big stage with lots of little areas you can fight in.
By the way, that is one of my favorite stage morphs. Is
Hyrule Castle, the temple.
Is Castle
that's actually cool.
Temple? Yeah.
So that a lot of I mean, Yoshi's Story in Melee as well, and Yoshi's Story in 64, and Green Greens and Dreamland. Like Green Greens is just like a slightly expanded version of that.
Right. Yeah.
I bet that's like some kind of consequence of Sakurai having to hurry the game up. I'm not really sure. But they did have to get it really fast, so he might have had to go with similar themes for the characters, since it was really early in the GameCube's life, so not much new stuff like Metroid Primes or Sunshines were made yet, so he kind of stuck with the 64 to draw from.
No, I just think that Melee was like what he wanted Smash 64 to be, but couldn't achieve it because of power and time. And that's why.
So
the only stage it doesn't really have that. The only stage it doesn't really feel like it has some sort of spiritual sequel is Saffron City. I mean, I know we got Pokemon Stadium and I guess Pokefloats, but we didn't get something that kind of emoted the same feeling in Saffron City.
Yeah, we did get Foreside, which is another stage on top of giant buildings. But yeah, it's not a Pokemon stage. And to be fair, Pokemon Stadium fits better than as a Pokemon stage than Saffron City.
Of course.
I disagree. I think Saffron City. I'm really tired of Gen 1, but I can still look at that stage as really good. Because I just feel like Smash doesn't really pull from actual Pokemon locations much, or at least distinct ones. So at the time, Saffron City was a good choice, and it has the Pokemon elements to it. That's why I really love stages like Spear Pillar, because it really feels like you're fighting in Pokemon and not in just a generic arena that happens to have random elements that kind of correspond to Pokemon, like with Melee Stadium.
Fair enough. No, with Mushroom Kingdom on Smash 64, I really like the warp pipe mechanic, where you go down the warp pipe and then you can peer on the other side of the stage, but sometimes it'll drop you off into the hole in the middle. No other stage has done that in the entirety of Smash history.
Yeah, I think Mushroom Kingdom was meant to be unique in that way.
Yeah, it's a very unique stage in terms of Smash. I mean, it's the only walk-off in Smash 64.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it was designed to be the most craziest stage and that's why it was the one that was unlockable. In the same way that Ness and Jigglypuff are sort of designed to be really more difficult to understand than the other characters, and that's why they're unlockable.
Now I don't wanna transition if we're still talking about stages, but out of curiosity, Nen, Spazzy, who are your mains? Or at least your favorite characters from 64. Doesn't matter if you're talking the modern version.
It's
Link. I was about to say probably Link.
I'm among my
surrounded by Links.
Yeah. Mine was Link, and then it became Young Link, and then Toon Link, and then Link wasn't good in Smash 4, so it became someone. So it became Yoshi.
I also like
Yoshi's
Ness.
my favorite Link.
Sorry.
For some reason, though, Ness connected a lot more with me Melee onwards than he did in 64.
You just needed that PK
because
Flash.
I still. Hey man, PK Flash is almost usable in Ultimate.
Almost.
I have some saved replays of KOs with that against people that aren't that great.
That's the only one who's gonna hit.
As an aside, I was playing
use it for some
Ultimate yesterday, and I was playing as Lucas, and the knockback on PK Freeze is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Shoots all the way off the side of the screen into the blast zone.
And it's the angle too, because since it hits you off at the side, and you're probably using it to edge guard. Yeah.
Well, it's like the only ice move in the game besides the Ice Climber, so they gotta make it count.
Yeah, until they introduce Sub-Zero. So anyways,
Scorpion for Smash.
I will fight people on that. I know NetherRealms is Scorpion, but I feel like Sub-Zero is such a better fit. But anyways, so Link and Samus were probably my two.
Spazzy, look at my Scorpion Dream Smasher later. But anyway,
I will.
Anyway, yeah, Spazzy,
Link,
go on.
Link was my main. I used Samus a lot because I just loved Super Metroid. But Super Metroid and Link to the Past were two of my favorite Super Nintendo games. I loved Ocarina of Time, so obviously those were characters that I was drawn to. And I thought Ness was interesting, but like I said, I didn't really get into him. What's funny is I'd never played Jigglypuff, but Jigglypuff was completely my Melee main once I got there. So
Jigglypuff was a lot better in Melee for sure.
I think that was probably the reason.
Yeah, I think outside of Link, it was definitely Yoshi, just because Yoshi is my favorite Nintendo character, and so I just played him for that reason and that reason alone. But Link was the one I actually thought was the best character.
Yeah, well, I prefer.
Really hard.
I didn't prefer to play criminals like Yoshi with their horrible recovery, or at least horrible up special.
That is true.
My favorite was, well, I'm not really sure what my favorite was. I kind of alternated while I was playing 64, but since I got Ultimate, I've really gone to appreciate Kirby. I love that guy. I also feel bad for his representation, but either way, his moveset is just awesome. Use him a lot now.
But yeah,
So
my main, as I said, was Captain Falcon. But even though I spent a long time with Link, the moment I got to Melee, I was like, holy crap, there's 4 Zelda characters. I'm going to play as all of them.
there's 5 Zelda characters.
Oh, that's right.
Sheik
Yeah.
and Zelda.
I really don't want to get into that because I count Pokemon Train as one character, so please don't trigger me.
So, I guess the other thing from 64 that stands out is Board the Platforms, which never ended up coming back.
It's such a mindless, easy mode, unless you like play Donkey Kong or something. So I didn't really remember. Sorry, go on.
I kind of hate Board the Platforms. I was just playing it yesterday, and there was I was playing Link's Board the Platforms. I don't know if they're any different. I don't think they are. But I was playing Link, and I went left, and it turns out you cannot return from going left, so you have to remember that for the next time and go right instead. So, yeah.
Hey, it's like an actual Zelda game.
Yeah, it's no race to the finish. I'll say that.
I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of Race to the Finish in 64. That's too easy. I actually found Board the Platforms to be the most difficult of the 3 bonus games in this game.
Are you supposed to fight enemies in Race to the Finish, or
no? You just run past them.
No, you just run past them.
No, you just
I know.
you just race to the finish.
Yeah.
I know you race to the finish, but it's like, what's the point of putting actual like polygon enemies in front of you? Why not make actual like obstacles? Speaking of which, the Polygon team will always beat the Fighting Me team.
Yeah. It's just they're obstacles. They're just not good obstacles. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's not like you need to beat the challenge anyway. So it's like if you're allowed to fail here, why not make it harder? I guess because there was only one set thing, and they need to make it achievable for every character, including Donkey Kong.
That's true. So
I don't know. We all know it's all about break the targets. That's like the only mode anyone really cares about.
That's why it's the one that came back. Well, Race to the Finish did. Race to the Finish got a big improvement when it came back.
Yeah.
Everyone only cares about Target Blast in Smash Wii U. Everyone knows this. I love Angry Birds.
That's when Smash comes to mobile phones. That's all it's going to be, Target Blast. That's why it got taken out of Smash Ultimate.
We can't just give them a free mobile game on the side.
No, it's got to be it's a free mobile game where you're breaking targets.
But you're
throwing Smash characters at them.
You can insert your money to buy PNGs of Smash characters.
And get spirits. Of course, there's like one spirit, and there's one spirit in the app, so you're gonna have to play it.
Yeah, you get spirits to improve your target smashing ability.
I got a question. If there were third-party guests in Smash Brothers 64, who do you think they would be?
Ooh, that's hard to see. Sonic
Definitely
fits, but like Sega's still around at that point, so
yeah, they're still the Saturn and the Dreamcast.
If Square Enix hadn't jumped ship and Final Fantasy VII had,
but they had,
yeah.
But they
they did jump ship. I want to say, Goemon from Mystical Ninja, because that's like the main third-party game I liked on that system.
I think
I want to say.
I
think Simon would have a chance. I think Mega Man.
Even if Castlevania 64 was bad, Simon was still pretty relevant at that point.
Yeah,
and he has the history. Or
maybe we'll get Reinhard Schneider. Because he's the one that was relevant at the time.
Can you get Trevor as an Echo? Because let's be honest, Trevor beats Richter.
Can we get Mega Man? I think is the thing. I think it's Mega Man and Bomberman.
Oh, man.
Would probably.
No, you're getting
Bomberman definitely. Actually,
Bomberman
had quite a few 64 games, and Mega Man had Mega Man 64, even if it was just the slightly less version of Legends.
Wouldn't we get Mega Man Volnut? Oh no.
No,
I don't know. It's still Sakurai.
Yeah, they were still making Mega Man games. Like Super Nintendo got Mega Man game, and it's just that the PS1 then got the next mainline one.
PS1 got all
he was
of
still
the,
quite big.
The actual Mega Man games.
Oh yeah, we're forgetting about Banjo. Of course, Banjo's
not third party.
Well, Banjo's not third party back then. He was first party.
Darn it!
So they did actually polls like if there was a Smash 2 poll, which came out right after Smash 64, and that had fan votes, and that had a third-party section. I think Mega Man might have won that. I'm trying to remember.
No,
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing as
Double-
well. Had to
Double
I
write
got
on
it,
it.
okay.
Third party. I don't care if GoldenEye was made after Smash 64. I don't even know, but either way, 007.
Oh no,
So
Mega Man came
guessed.
5th actually.
Yeah,
So
Chocobo was number
Chocobo was
one.
number one.
Just make James Bond a Captain Falcon clone.
That doesn't make any sense.
This third
Makes a
party
lot of
list.
sense.
This third party list is Chocobo, Doraemon, Bomberman, Crash
I don't wanna-
Bandicoot, and then Sonic and Mega Man Drew.
I don't
So-
want to hear anything about Chocobos after that Chocobo Mystery Dungeon announcement.
That's
So
really
I-
interesting that Crash Bandicoot was on there, considering.
Yeah,
Sony
it was big in
exclusive.
Japan at the time, even if it was PlayStation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just looking at this list, if you take out the ones that jump ship or are exclusive, then or were just not a video game character, then Bomberman is the top choice,
Okay.
which is funny because he's still not playable all this time.
Hayden assist trophy.
Yeah,
That's enough.
Look,
That's
Smash
enough
64 might have
apparently.
been his best chance because it's like such a simple game compared to all the others. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Bomberman's
sorry.
simple bomb
And-
placing moveset would have worked really well.
And Hudson and Nintendo actually had a really good working relationship because they were making all those Mario Party games.
Yeah, that's true as well. So yeah, it
The-
could possibly have been
The
Bomberman.
director for the first 3 Mario parties was the creator of Bomberman.
Oh,
There
also
you
what
go.
I'm
Like,
saying is,
there you go.
64 bomb to have a mechanic where you have to move the controller move the analog stick really quickly to get a bigger bomb.
Yes.
I'd so main that.
Oh. But right, so moving on from Smash 64 itself, because we want to try and wrap this up. But before I do, I wanted to talk about it being Smash's 20th anniversary this year. Do we think that Nintendo's actually going to do anything to kind of celebrate it? Like, obviously we have DLC coming out this year, and that's going to be the big focus for Smash. But as I said earlier in this discussion, when Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, when it was all their 20th anniversaries, they did celebrate it, and Kirby. They all got sort of big... some of them got anniversary games, like Kirby got a collection, and did Mario get a game on the 20th anniversary? Or was it the
Didn't
25th?
you just get like that?
I think it.
I'm not
Super
actually
Mario
Yeah, I got a port
All-Stars
of
for
All-Stars
one
for
of them.
Wii, I think.
Oh, was that the 20th? Okay.
think so.
I was trying to remember what everybody got on their anniversaries. But that makes me think of Smash is one of their bigger franchises and one of their biggest selling ones. And I'm wondering if they'll do anything to celebrate it other than the DLC. Like,
I feel like sorry.
Melee HD, man.
Since Ultimate's already like here, since Ultimate's like still here and alive, the most I think we can expect is maybe like if we're really lucky, can't expect it, hope for like a 7th DLC character to kind of like reference the beginning, like Metal Mario with an Echo or like the Fighting Polygons all
yes,
put together.
fighting Polygon Team, please.
I feel like if we get N64 games on the Nintendo Online program eventually, I think maybe Smash could be one of the first ones. I don't know. Because
And
All Stars was for the 25th
Oh,
anniversary.
want to be a really cool
25th,
anniversary
okay.
bonus? Imagine if it's like all 12 N64 veterans got their like N64 models as costumes.
Well, that's something Martin was saying, although Martin was taking it to the next level and saying that there'd be like a 64 texture pack that would make everything
saying-
look like a 64. I know he was taking it to the next level and also predicting Sandbag as a playable character.
Oh yeah, I remember Sandbag. That'd be the best DLC character. We need a Smash original to join the roster already. Me Fighters don't
Sakurai
count.
just joins.
maybe we can get
That's-
break the targets and board the platforms back.
Maybe we can finally get some superstar representation.
Maybe Metal Cavern will finally be playable. That's it.
That's literally it. It's like it's been 20 years since the first game, so here,
Yeah,
the Metal
there you
Cavern.
go.
20
No
Enjoy.
new textures. Just take it.
It's such a small stage as well. It'd be absolute chaos on 8-player Smash.
But you can play an 8. But you can play an 8-player Smash. Hell, try 9-player Smash.
But yeah, no. Well, I'm wondering if there's stuff like will we get like an art book, like, or something like that? Because we've obviously had the Hyrule Historia, and in Japan they like releasing art books all the time for stuff. Mario got the encyclopedia. I'm sure Kirby got something. I'm just probably not aware of it. Like, I'm wondering whether or not we'll get some actual sort of non-game items for Super Smash Bros. Because that's not something that really exists with the Smash series. Apart from Amiibo, which are just a general Nintendo product, the only kind of Smash memorabilia were pins, or they held contests in Japan where you could win like a lunchbox.
Doesn't the
and that's about it.
Would the controllers with the Smash branding count? Because I got the Smash Pro controller over here.
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of non-gaming stuff like books or
Smash.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of promotional
or anything.
There's a lot of promotional stuff, but that's only for like, you know, you go to E3, you can get a hat or a shirt, but there's not much you can actually buy that's official.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering, like, what will Nintendo do something this year, like a line of Smash memorabilia to celebrate Smash 64 or an art book, or I'm trying to think what else was do. Those are like the two main things.
I would say a soundtrack.
Oh yeah, soundtrack actually, because they did release. They released a Smash 4 soundtrack, but it came with the special edition, and in Japan they did release a Smash 64 soundtrack. But I think that's it.
Too late.
I have a Melee Orchestra soundtrack, but I got it from like official Nintendo magazine. So again, it was a special promotion thing, and Brawl I don't think ever got anything of the equivalent.
I would really like a soundtrack, but I feel like they just consider the fact that you can turn the screen off for the sound test in Ultimate.
I think Ultimate's meant to be the 20th anniversary gift.
That's that might be a fair point, considering like it is the special edition. Everyone's back. It's big. It's a big deal. True.
Best Smash 64 port. I did stop making that joke.
So, right. Anyone got any closing thoughts before I wrap up this discussion?
If there's something you wanted to talk about, not really much about Smash 64, just like looking at the characters, how it's like they kind of have like these movesets, like some of them feel a little dated. Like, what do you think about that? Like, looking at Samus, for example. Like,
I don't think it's
really accurate.
Bad.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be.
I mean, it's not that bad. I still have fun with the character, but I just feel like there's more accurate stuff to do with them, and you're only restricting yourself because that character is already in. And I understand, but moveset is a really important part too. So some characters have some stuff.
With Smash 64, I just played it. I think it holds up really well. Like, I was having a blast. A smile across my face. It was really fun. But there's some weird animations, like Link's up smash is really awkward. And while accuracy is a big deal for Smash, not being too accurate with the first game is fine. I just wish some of those animation quirks were not there, because it's a little weird. It's very stilted up smash. It doesn't really feel like you're actually doing an attack. It just feels like Link is stabbing his sword into the air.
Also, like his up air? I don't really remember the animation you're talking about.
Oh, it's his up smash.
It's up smash.
It'll be in the video.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the up special.
Nah.
Okay, I'll just watch the video when it comes out then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spazzy, you? Any closing thoughts?
Smash Brothers is great, I guess. Yay, Smash. Smash 64 is an archaic relic of that laid the foundation for better games, in my opinion. I know some people, I'm sure it's somebody's favorite. In fact, I know people who it is their favorite, but it's a game I can revisit just for a little bit nostalgia and just to see, have a Smash that feels a little bit different. But every one of those characters and almost every one of those stages is in another Smash.
It's true. But when will we get Sector Z back? That's the question.
Some people love Sector Z, and let me tell you, if they had a stage builder, it would already be back.
After we already have Venom, no thank you. Corneria and Venom
I kind of like Venom, but the thing about Sector Z, is that it would be a fun stage for 8-player Smash because it's huge.
Yeah, it's true. It's actually bigger than the Corneria version.
Yeah, they scaled it down.
But by quite a bit.
Yeah.
I really like
I wouldn't
Planet
mind it.
Zebes.
Yeah.
It's like the one really unique Metroid stage that doesn't really have a counterpart, even though like aesthetically, it does have one in Melee. Just layout wise,
Lava Rising.
Yeah. Layout wise, it's never been kind of matched.
Yeah, well, I kind
Yeah.
of think that
Right.
Sakurai, another thing he was kind of considering when putting on, like, bringing back N64 stages, like, Metroid has a lot of stages, so it doesn't really need Planet Zebes. It's like, got, I mean,
To be
even though it did
fair with
lose-
that argument though, Zelda has a lot of stages.
Yeah, well, that's
did it
just to
really
make
need...
up. That's just to make up for its joke of a roster. I'm not calling the characters in it bad. Well, Ganondorf is. I'm just saying that it doesn't really have enough.
Zelda has enough.
don't know.
Zelda-
Kirby has
arguable.
a lot of stages. Yeah, I don't know. I'd argue. I still think that Planet. To be honest, all the 64 stages should come back. I understand it was probably a time thing.
Yeah.
but-
And also, I feel like Mushroom Kingdom Melee
Yeah, that's
is
another
sufficiently
one that's-
different from Mushroom Kingdom. But I feel like for some of the stages, they're all like, we're just going to take one.
Yeah. Just like we've only got one time, so we'll just take one, and anything that clashes with that will get left behind.
Maybe just not to
Yeah.
confuse people when they're choosing stages, because it's already a massive thing. Every stage needs to look pretty distinct.
Maybe I can understand Sector Z because it's very similar, and also like stuff like Flat Zone got combined into one stage.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that- it was-
PictoChat did
Oh,
not,
yeah.
and that's ridiculous.
PictoChat didn't. Yes, Flat Zone got combined, but that's only because it was combined in Smash for Wii U.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Justice for Picto
yeah,
Chat.
Smash.
Yeah.
Flat Zone X is in Smash for Wii U.
I didn't play a lot of Smash for Wii U.
Yeah, but we get PictoChat 2, but we don't get PictoChat, which is weird.
Yeah, weird, because PictoChat 2 is the smaller one that they would have had to do
Yeah.
more work on.
I played the. No, never mind. I was just gonna talk. I was gonna go on a tangent about Smash. I was gonna go on a tangent about
Yeah.
Smash Wii U, but then I remembered where I was.
Yeah, let's not
Yes.
go on tangents, especially as we're going to start closing up this video.
We're wrapping
now,
up. Yeah, these are the final
Yeah,
thoughts.
that's
The
what I-
final
yeah, that's what
thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Hey, do you want any final thoughts? Well, I got Smash 4 on November 16th, 2014.
My final thoughts are Link is obviously the best playable character in Smash 64, even if that doesn't bear out competitively in any way.
Me
We
and
can
her-
all agree on that, right?
Bring your link to an
Yeah,
arena.
indeed.
Bring your link to an arena, Spazzy. My Kirby wants to speak with you.
Oh man.
Oh, it's all out.
Remember that one game where Kirby didn't suck?
All right.
That's not
So,
true. Kirby always sucks. That's his thing. Ah.
Ha
Okay.
ha!
With that, I want to thank everyone for joining me for this discussion. I want to thank you all for listening. Up on the screen now are all of the patrons, including our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. A link to his channel is in the description below. With that, do all of the YouTube jazz like and subscribe, and always remember to return to the source.